Here in Smackey's garage, we're usually turning wrenches, but today we're gonna be looking at this Bambu H2D. I've had it for a year, so we're gonna look at, is this good enough to make car parts and projects like that, or is it just to make toys? So let's go ahead, let's jump into it. Now, I originally started with the Bambu Labs X1C, had that for about a year, sold it to a friend because I wanted to upgrade to something a little bit bigger and that fits my use case a little bit more. One of the reasons why I wanted to get into 3D printing is my background is engineering, and I miss doing CAD, I miss doing engineering projects, and I wanted to jump back into them. Now, to use this, you don't need to be an engineer. The software is at the point where, anyone can grab a model online and make it. And the programs that they have, like Fusion 360 and SolidWorks, there are great YouTube tutorials on it that I've used to come back up to speed that would teach a beginner. Now, I did purchase this because there were a bunch of parts that I wanted that didn't exist. There isn't a good gauge mount for the 1969 Mustang on the steering column. I was using hose clamp before and really wasn't working out great. It was causing damage to the steering column, which is something I wanted to avoid, especially on a car like that. There's a lot of those parts that don't exist anymore that are really hard to find, or there is something simple that I can build that will get me going on a project. It's evolved from that into the point where I created an online store, which I sell some car parts, sell some other parts. But with the store, it's really allowed me to build some interesting parts and offer them for sale. And one of the biggest things that I've been doing on the store recently is a lot of people have reached out to me to have custom parts made for these gauge clamps, which I have happily done. And I don't charge any more for just the standard part that I would make. So if you need a diameter change or something, all that I cover under my cost, as long as I can do it in like a day or two. It's enabled me to give back to some of the car community and to provide some value of things that do not exist. For the custom parts, two that I've made a clamp for the 1954 Buick. Someone reached out for that. They needed a custom one that I think was 2.32 inches in diameter to fit a certain identity column. And then someone asked me to make a mount for the Holley screen on their steering column so they didn't have to have it on the window. All which I've made and all which the customers have given me good feedback on. Now, if you're looking at spending this type of money on a printer, you obviously don't need me to tell you the specs. You've already looked all that out. You're looking for some real world experience with it. And for me, the benefits that I've gotten from it are the heated chamber is great. When I'm printing ABS, ASA parts, the heated chamber is necessary to keep everything uniform, ensure nothing warps, and to give everything the maximum strength. And we'll do a demonstration of some of that strength. It's allowed me to make parts like this, which is a giant ABS part, which is a port light adapter for a portable air conditioning system that fits certain boats. So with this, it allowed me to really jump back into CAD and just get my skills back up. It's something that it's completely made out of ABS. It is large. You would typically see warping on this on other printers. On the X1C that I had, I would need to cut this into 2 pieces, then put it together, maybe 3 pieces. And it really got me back into this. Typically on something like this size, you will see warping across the edge here because just of how big this part is and how it barely fits in. So by having the printer at a uniform temperature in there, it allows this to be built. So the AMS up top in the multi-print head, on this I used it for a support layer for the threads on this. So if you look on the inside, there's actually threads and they're reverse threads. I had to design these threads myself because they don't exist and they're not just a standard thread. So the support will actually be built up on the threads on the outside here. And when it does that, it ensures that the threads just aren't overhanging and they can be printed right. So this is an updated version that isn't on my store yet that has the threads built in. Previously, we were just using tape, but you take a large air conditioner duct like this and you just put it in, you twist it. And then you have this here, which is your duct that goes to air conditioning system, and then this which goes to the port light directing all the hot air out, allowing you to cool a boat that has a port light window that's this size. And the reason why it's not in the store yet is because I haven't been able to test it out yet because it's winter here. Boats aren't really available to install it on to check the fitment. Now, a lot of people think 3D printers, they're not going to make strong parts, but let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I have these gauge cups here that I make. These are my standard 2.5 inch gauge cups. They are made from ABS, so they are strong. You want the heated chamber on these because without it, you need to put a brim on the outside, which kind of degrades the look of it. Also, the heated chamber helps keep everything flat and not warped. And let's go ahead and check how strong these are. We're gonna go ahead, put these on the ground and then put 210 pounds on them, see how they hold up. All right, myself, I weigh about 210 pounds. We're gonna go ahead and put some compressive force on these. You can see they're my standard design cups. You know, I am actually going to put my feet up here, or hands up here first to balance. And, you know, right now there's 110 pounds on them and it's hard to balance on them. Now let's go ahead and get rid of one of them and then do just 210 pounds or 220 pounds, I guess I really am, on one. And yeah, a little hard for me to balance, but you can see, you know, it is holding my weight perfectly. But you can see it's holding my weight, you know, I am really shifting my weight back and forth and it's still doing well. So as you can see, they do really well in the compressive direction. And, you know, and overall a good design product is going to hold up. You know, that's really a gimmicky test to show you just, you know, a good design product could actually hold up under the heavy weights. These aren't meant to take 220 pounds on this face, but they do. Now that goes to show you that design of a 3D part is incredibly important. If I were to put 210 pounds on like this, it would just definitely crack. In my mind, if you're doing this as a hobbyist and you're using ABS, ASA, some high temperature materials, nylon, glass filled materials, you really should get something like this if you're doing that. If you're using just PLA and smaller parts, doesn't make sense. Where this really differentiates itself is that heated chamber and the size of the print bed. Now it can make parts that are big without having to glue them together, and the benefit there is, you know, strength and rigidity, and everything stays lined up as it's supposed to. Now if you're looking to do engineering and build parts for your cars, this is for you. If you're looking to build toys, I'd probably look at some of the cheaper models. Now using this one hasn't been completely without its headaches. I've had a few small issues early when I was understanding how to get everything to work well. You know, there was some delamination issues when I'm using materials that just weren't sticking. I had some issues with the print heads at one point where there was a time early when I was printing ASA or ABS and I went to PLA and I was going back and forth there and it actually gummed up the nozzle and shot the nozzle not off of it, but it created a huge booger of plastic, and that was kind of a nightmare to deal with. I do still have the part here that I wanted to show you guys, and you know, the material literally got everywhere on this. I ended up having to replace the heater. I ended up having to replace the head on here, and this little bracket here just, you know, it wasn't cleanable. I tried everything from heating it up. You can see it's kind of still stuck. I tried everything from heating it up to cleaning it, but it was at the point where it was so far gone that it was worth it for me to replace this. Now, other than that, you know, a few print issues here and there, maybe dirty build plates, but I haven't had any components that have just failed that have had to be replaced. A lot of it was this, which was probably a software / not clearing the print head enough issue. I've been doing PLA and ASA back to back now, but I'm a little bit more careful. I don't know if this issue would still happen, but I always make sure that I purge the nozzle a little bit more when I'm doing something like this. Now, one of the things that this is great for in the garage is fixturing. So coming up this week, I need to put my transmission back together, and to do that, there are needle bearings that sit on the outside. A lot of people use a wood dowel to do that, but I was able to print something in about an hour that's just going to insert in here and hold those in place while I assemble the transmission back together for my 1969 Mustang. This fixture here was designed by a YouTube channel named Gearbox Video. He does a lot on transmissions, on shifters, especially Hurst shifters, and with that he designed this fixture to allow people to put the Hurst Competition Plus back together and in a more safer manner. And with it, it worked flawlessly. He doesn't charge for this. All you need to do is download his file. So for that, you know, there's a lot of people that build things like this that are available. It really does help you when you're putting your cars back together and you need something that doesn't exist. And lastly, I always go back to this. So this is a completely custom gauge mount that's made to fit the steering column. You know, the way the steering column is designed is there's a bump out at the bottom that the wires travel along, and there really wasn't anything that fits here. And I really wanted to have my air to fuel gauge there versus down there. So something that I can look at and immediately know if anything's wrong. And building that gauge mount's what really got me back into the engineering side and building parts that don't exist anymore. And last on the Shop Nation channel, I saw them rebuilding their garage and they were actually printing out a 3D model of it to see how everything fits. And I've actually started doing that as well. So, you know, the parts have broken. I've been playing around with this and I gave it to my son to play around with. But these two pieces here are a little bit flimsy. But I printed out a truck that's my exact size. And with my current garage size, it doesn't fit in the garage because of this bench and the toolboxes over there. But my plan is to see how I can orient everything and get everything kind of organized in here a little bit better. Debating doing a custom bench build in here just to give me a little bit more room that if I wanted to put my truck in, I could. So a lot of different options, a lot of different cool things that you could do with this. The bigger H2D has allowed me to print things like this in a bigger scale so that not only could I build it and it's easier to work with and just easier to put together, but I can give it to my son to play with after. All right, so that's it. So this really is a great tool for the garage, something I'm very happy that I purchased, and you know, it's been working really well in all the situations I've been using it. Thanks for tuning in this week on Smackey's Garage. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Snow's finally melting, so we're gonna get back outside and do some truck work. I'll see you next time.